Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 378. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 Report. As I get everything ready and I turn my volume all the way off, I'll never listen, do I? At least I know I'm broadcasting. All right. So can't do that one right there. Go to here. Yep, there we go. Well, welcome today. I hope everybody's having a good time. I'm getting ready. Man, it's Thursday. We made it to Thursday. We got one more day, and the week is done. Got a wedding to go to this weekend. So we're ramping up. I think we got everybody in. All right. We're connected to ScrewTube and Facebook. And still can't figure out X right now. I got to figure that one out. All right. So JP8 Report. Click that follow button if you're not already a follower. Can you believe it's Wednesday? We've gone 3 days. We haven't got a new follower yet. Let's get a couple before tomorrow. That would be great. And then click that like button for the episode, and then chat with us. Well, I learned something a while ago. It's like I've been having a hard time connecting my tablet, and I realized I was straight cellular on my tablet. It was unbelievable. And then, oh, there we go. My desktop froze up on me while I'm back down. That's good. So yeah, chat with us. I got retired Rob 53, but I think he's got a dentist appointment right now. And then I got Covite for life. He should be in there in just a minute. Hey, thank y'all very much for being there with us. We've been getting a lot of people watching the podcast, the one I do in the morning and the one I do right now. So that'd be great. All right, so let's get started. We are doing America 250, and this week I've been doing Thoughts on Government. It was a pamphlet written by John Adams in 1776. There's 5 parts to it. I divided it up into 5 parts, and then I'm on part 4 right now. So tomorrow will be the last one. So go back, listen to the podcast over the last few days if you want to hear it. It's, what was I going to say? I lost it. I just heard my wife sneeze in the back room just now. Oh, man. Wait till she hears that. Okay, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I know what it was. So if you want to hear the essay being read by me, and you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, right? I mean, I'd rather you listen to the whole podcast. Just listen to the first 10 minutes and you'll see what the America 250 event is, okay? Because I always do America 250 at the beginning. All right, so here we go, part 4. Let me get my page right. There we go. A rotation of all offices as well as of representatives and counselors has many advocates and is contended with many plausible arguments. It would be attended, no doubt, by many with many advantages, and if the society has a sufficient number of suitable characters to supply with great numbers of vacancies, which would be made by such a rotation, I can see no objection to it. These persons may be allowed to serve for 3 years and then excluded 3 years for no longer or shorter term. Any 7 or 9 of the legislative councils may be made a quorum for doing business as a privy council to advise the governor in the exercise of the executive power branch of power and in all acts of state. Hold on just a second. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, because most city councils have 7 members in it. Maybe that's where they got that from. Um, the governor should have the command of the militia and all of your armies. The power of all pardons should be with the governor and council. Judges, justices, and all other officers, civil and military, should be nominated and appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of council, unless you choose to have a government more popular. If you do, all officers, civil and military, may be chosen by joint ballot on both houses, or in order to preserve the independence and importance of each house, by a ballot of one house concurred by the other. Sheriffs should be chosen by the the freeholders of counties. So should registers of deeds and clerks of counties. All officers should have commissions under the hand of the governor and the seal of the colony. The dignity and stability of government in all its branches, with morals of the people and every blessing of society, depends so much upon the upright and skillful administration of justice, that the judicial power ought to be distinct from both the legislative and executive, and independent upon both, that so it may be a check upon both, as both should be checks upon that. The judges, therefore, should be always be men of learning and experience in the laws, of exemplary morals, great patience, calmness, coolness, and attention. Their minds should not be distracted with jarring interests. They should not be dependent upon any man or body of men. To these ends, they should hold estates for life in their offices, or in other words, their commissions should be during good behavior, and the salaries asserted and established by law. For misbehavior, the grand inquest of the colony, the House of Representatives, should impeach them before the governor and council, where they should have time and opportunity to make their defense, but if convicted, should be removed from their offices and subjected to such other punishment as shall be thought proper. A militia law requiring all men, with very few exceptions besides cases of conscience, should be provided with arms and ammunition, to be trained at certain seasons, and requiring counties, towns, and other small districts to be provided with public stocks of ammunition and entrenching utensils, and with some settled plans for transporting provisions after the militia, when marched to defend their country against sudden invasions, and requiring certain districts to be provided with field pieces, companies of matrosses, and perhaps some regiments of light horse, is always a wise institution, and in the present circumstances of our country, indispensable. Okay, so that was where I stopped my part for. Part 4, the final part, is tomorrow. I got a question about this. How many people in our government has actually read this? I'll be honest with you, I never heard about it until I did my studies for the podcast. But you have liberals out there trying to not term limit. Well, yeah, trying to term limit judges and stuff. And in here, it was talking about judges and justices serving life terms to keep them from being influenced by the actions of others. And I kind of understand that now. He has a lot of wisdom in this document right here, and we should actually that'd be a good question. It's like, how many of y'all, question to my representative, have you ever read The Thoughts on Government by John Adams? Let's see what the answers are, right? Most definitely. All right. So next is the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns. Backup backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the armament shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text at 254-560-2023. The Armament Shop. Your safety, our priority. There you go. That's my new person I'm sponsoring on my show. Them and the Dalmatian when they come back into business, hopefully within a month. And Jason, he's the wedding I'm going to on Saturday. All right, here we go. The JP8 report. We're going to do the Iran update. Don't forget to click follow and like in the podcast, okay? So Iran update, Operation Epic Fury. The ceasefire continues. Trump orders the Navy to sink mine-laying ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The Israel-Lebanese peace talks are occurring today in Washington, D.C. 31 ships have been intercepted going into or trying to leave the Strait of Hormuz by U.S. forces. The IGRC is trying to exert control inside of Iran, and like I keep saying, it's like a soft coup. Looks like they're protecting the spiritual leader and trying to push out everybody else. Because if you do away with the Ayatollah, you'll probably have a full-fledged riot inside of Iran itself. So it looks like the IRGC commanding generals are trying to take full command and control of the whole country. The U.S. has used half their Patriot missiles in this war so far. It's going to take 6 months to clear mines. And the IRGC is mapping underwater cable routes. That's something that was put out. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a headline I want to read so people will be aware of it. You take an underwater fiber or copper cable, long local is what they call them when they run long distances. You can sever the communication for dozens of countries. So that's why it's important to keep those things. Trump says Iran must surrender their uranium. And then the Trump envoy is asking FIFA to replace Iran with Italy. So about an hour ago, Brent crude oil was trading at $102.87 a barrel. In West Texas Intermediate, $93.44 a barrel. And the Dow Jones was up 17.02 at 49,507.95. Okay, that's your Iran update. Onward to the JP8 report. All right, man, Richard's not in there yet. That's crazy, man. So if you're watching and you want to do me a favor, put an American flag in the chat. I love seeing the American flag. So go ahead. I'm doing it first. To set an example. All right. So Marine medals in Abbey Gate in Afghanistan were upgraded. It was announced yesterday, and I found this on X from Stuart Schuler showing the number. There was 7 of them that were upgraded. So if you look at here, you had a Lance Corporal going from a Navy combination with the C to a Bronze Star with the Valor device. And then you have a lance corporal, a sergeant, and a staff sergeant, all with Navy commendations with C's, upgraded to Navy commendations with V. V is for valor. Okay, then you had a lance corporal with a Navy Achievement Medal with a C on it, and was upgraded to a Navy commendation with the V device. And you had a sergeant that had a certificate of commendation. He got upgraded all the way up to Navy Commendation Medal with the C device. And then you had a sergeant that didn't have nothing. He or she got upgraded to a Navy Commendation Medal. I am sure there will be more. It'd be nice to know which of those Marines got what. That would be great. All right. I don't know if these are for people that served there or people that were killed in action during the homicide bombing. I'm sure one day we might find out. Okay. And then, all right, got that set. All right. So next is about these mine-laying ships. President Donald Trump announced on Thursday morning, Truth Social, that he has commanded the U.S. Navy to conduct deadly strikes on any boats placing mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Quote, I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boat, small boats, though they may be. Their Navy ships are all small, 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. That is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz, the president declared on Truth Social. There is to be no hesitation. Additionally, our minesweepers are clearing the strait right now. I am hereby ordering all that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for attention to this matter, he added. That's on Truth Social, okay? So we're flying a little bit. All right. Oh, look at that. Richard Derby. Yes. Hold on just a second. Just give me a second here. I'm replying. Oh. Are you on the show? All right. That's Covite for life. All right. So let's see if he replies to me or not, either on the podcast or on my phone. All right. So the SPLC. I was going to make an acronym out of it, but I won't do that. All right. So the SPLC doubles the revenue months after Charlottesville. That was in 2017. I have the two articles I'm going to go through dealing with the SPLC. All right. No answer yet. One of them deals with them giving donations to hate groups. Unbelievable. And if you got an anti-hate group, well, you can challenge that one. But you have this group that fights against these hate groups, and they're funding them to do stuff to cause a reaction out of the SPLC. It's unbelievable. About to head to Waco. Okay. He's going to Waco, so he won't be on today. So I'm free and clear. I can say what I want. The SPLC is accused of funneling millions of dollars to at least 8 leaders of members of hate groups, including the Ku Klux Klan Imperial Wizard and a fundraiser for a neo-Nazi group, to act as informants, which one nonprofit leader likened to paying an arsonist to help put out a fire. The Alabama-based nonprofit was charged by the Department of Justice with wire fraud, bank fraud, a Colorado DA just filed assault charges against a federal immigration officer. Really? You can't make this stuff up. They're just going to keep trying and trying. The Alabama-based nonprofit was charged by the Department of Justice with wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering conspiracy on Tuesday for allegedly hiding from donors the fact that it doled out more than $3 million over the course of nearly a decade to field sources with infiltrating violent extremist groups. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel announced on Wednesday. The field sources, or Fs, were secretly paid by the SPLC between 2014 and 2023, the indictment claims. America First legal president Gene Hamilton, a former DOJ official, told the Post Wednesday it's unprecedented for a tax-exempt nonprofit to use donor funds to pay informants in violent extremist groups. That is why you have the FBI and the U.S. Marshals to do stuff like that, okay? I've seen some leftists talking about, seen some chatter on social media and elsewhere saying, oh, this is a commonly used tactic among the government for years to infiltrate organizations. And the lawyer for the conservative group said that that's one thing if it's the government can prosecute people. Hamilton liked it for paying the proverbial arsonist to help put out a fire. He said it would be like if his own MAGA-tied group was secretly giving money to DEI officials to set up more DEI programs and raising money to fight against DEI. Perfect analogy. That is perfect. It's mind-boggling dumb, he said. Leora Rez, the founder of Stop Anti-Semitism, said that the SPLC's work fighting anti-Semitism appeared to have fallen off in recent years. He was infuriated by the allegations. It's unimaginable to us that a civil rights group could gin up a fake bigotry in order to solicit donations from concerned Americans. We'll get to that in just a second. All right. Hey there, Richard. Have a good drive up to Waco, okay? If this is what the SPLC did, it is shameful and outrageous. SPLC CEO Brian Ferris said in a statement Tuesday that the organization was being politically targeted and claimed that Trump administration was weaponizing the DOJ. See, they got caught, and they're trying to explain it away and blame other people, but they got caught red-handed. Fair maintained these payments were confidential informants to gather credible intelligence on extremely violent groups. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Among the informants identified but not named in the indictment is an imperial wizard of United Klans of America, a hate group for the SPLC claimed in a 2013 article was responsible for the 1963 Street Baptist Church bombing that killed 4 young girls. Several other people in leadership roles of extremist groups were allegedly covertly being bankrolled by the SPLC, court papers charge. I would love to see this indictment. One informant was part of an online leadership chat group organizing the 2017 Unite the Right white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, and ended up posting racist comments at the SPLC's behest, while also coordinating rides for others to attend per the indictment. They paid this group to make comments against SPLC. That's ridiculous. In total, SPLC paid the informant $270,000 in 8 years. A veteran informant from the neo-Nazi National Alliance, man, these are all bad guys, was paid $1 million over the same period and assisted the SPLC at one point by stealing 25 boxes of documents from the violent extremist group's headquarters. The filings allege he worked as a fundraiser for the neo-Nazi group, according to the DOJ. The records formed the basis of a subsequent story on the nonprofit's Hate Watch blog. And then check this out. SPLC then paid a second informant at the same organization $6,000 to take the fall for the theft, the indictment claims. So they paid someone $270,000 to go in and steal these 25 boxes of documents for the SPLC's little blog they had going at the time. And then they paid someone else $6,000 from the same organization to admit that he did it. Man, that's all kinds of... Wow. Another informant received more than $300,000 between 2014 and 2020 while serving as the National Socialist Movement officer and member of the Aryan Nations affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, and the court papers allege one former chairman of the National Alliance was paid $140,000 from the SPLC from 2016 to 2023 while being featured as part of the nonprofit's extremist files. So you label the person as an extremist and you still pay him $140,000. You know what? I think I'm in the wrong line of work, because these guys are getting paid big bucks to be listed on a Facebook somewhere or a posting somewhere. Unbelievable. So, hey James, I'm gonna post you on the extremist files, and I hope you agree to it. But if you do, I'm gonna give you $140,000 for it. I'm gonna say, why? Sure. No one knows where I live. Yeah, go ahead and do it. Oh my goodness, man, that's ridiculous. The page list: William Pierce, no relation. I do have a brother named William Pierce, but he's not dead because this guy died in 2002. Yeah, definitely not my brother. Eric Glebel and Sean Walker were subsequent chairmen. I don't know them either. A former director of the Aryan Nations, who also was a member of the KKK, was also featured in the SPLC's extremist files, despite getting paid $70,000 between 2014 and 2016. Court documents claim the national president for the American Front, who was convicted of cross-burning by the feds, received $19,000 from the SPLC between 2016 and 2029. And then an exalted cyclops of the KKK was outed as part of a prior court case for having received $3,500 from the SPLC. Another $160,000 was funneled to other violent extremist group leaders, including an ex-Grand Wizard of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Some of these groups I've never heard of in my life. Wow. At the same time as some of those payments, the Biden DOJ was also counting SPLC for help on cases in its Civil Rights Division for receiving exclusive access to federal hate crimes databases. The Post previously reported based on a Freedom of Information Act records obtained by the AFL. Attorneys for the division often solicited SPLC officials advice about issues that they should be tracking and even invited the left-wing nonprofit to attend quarterly departmental meetings. You let the weasel in the hen house, man, and you paid them for it. Does it get any worse? This is the last part. By propping up and paying these particular actors sums of money to do the very things they were supposed to be combating, they created a narrative. They created a justification for their existence. And then they, do some kind of government action, restrict the freedoms of other Americans. They're very intimately connected with the Civil Rights Division and the FBI during the last administration. He added liking the effort to a school board memo that justified action to go after parents who were protesting educational issues. The SPLC did not return a request for a comment. Really, that is crazy. But you know what's worse than this? This is what's worse than this. Because, like I said, some of these groups I've never heard of a day in my life, and I'm 57 years old. The SPLC saw revenue surge after Charlottesville rally as the DOJ alleges informant ties. So when Charlottesville happened in 2017, which they helped organize by paying an extremist to get it organized and get people in there, they were part of the planning process. And it's like a never-ending circle, right? Never-ending circle. Cause and effect, cause and effect. I'm going to give you $100,000. You make this happen so we can react. I really hope this organization dissolves because there's no use for it at all. They're trying to be, we're developing our informants, but you're not a law enforcement agency at all. You shouldn't be doing this stuff at all. It's called obstruction of justice and conspiracy, right? Well, yeah, I got more. And then my next thing before I read this is they had bank accounts of offshore shell companies to be able to pay these guys so nobody could know that the SPLC was actually paying these guys to do what they were doing. So they were laundering money to these violent criminals, and I guarantee none of them got a 1098 or 1099, right? So I'm sure the IRS wants to talk to them also about all this, right? All right, because if I didn't give a 1099 to one of my employees when I had my business, I guarantee I'd be having a discussion. All right, so the Southern Poverty Law Center more than doubled its revenue in a month following the deadly 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. A surge now drawing renewed scrutiny after the Department of Justice indicted the alleged group paid an informant tied to the event's organizers. The 2017 rally, which left one woman dead, became a cultural flashpoint over white nationalism and political violence, driving widespread condemnation and a surge in donations to the civil rights group, including the SPLC. The fallout also shaped the 2020 presidential election as President Trump's response, including his remarks about very fine people on both sides, and was hammered by the left, and with former President Autopin Joe Biden later citing Charlottesville with the reason he entered the race. For years, the left used the Jews. For years, the left used the Jews will not replace us. 2017 Unite the Right rally as proof of rampant anti-Semitism on the right. Turns out it was underwritten by the leftist SPLC, which allegedly funded organizers supervised racist posts and coordinated transportation. Wild, journalist Betya Ungar Sargon wrote on X. One of the many conservatives who argued the allegations raised questions about whether the SPLC use of paid performance informants may have actually played a role in amplifying or facilitating extremist activity. You better bet it did. According to the indictment by the Department of Justice, the SPLC paid an informant network dating back to the 1980s, including covert network that was associated with or infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and other groups as the organization's direction. One source, identified as F37, was part of an online leadership chat group that planned a 2017 Unite the Right event. F37 attended the event at the direction of the SPLC. F37, I think the F means informant, I think it was, made racist postings under the supervision of the SPLC and helped coordinate to the event several attendees. Between 2015 and 2023, the SPLC secretly paid F37 more than $270,000. Like I said, I'm in the wrong line of work. A spokesman for the Southern Poverty Law Center told Fox News the organization is reviewing the charges and called the allegations false. Do you think you'd have any other response? Defending its work monitoring extremist groups and saying it uses informants saves lives. No, it costs lives, people. The group said it plans to vigorously defend itself and continue its mission of combating hate. While the indictment alleges the SPLC paid informants tied to individuals involved in white supremacist groups, including organizers of the Unite the Right rally, Fox News found the organization's revenue surged in the immediate aftermath of the Charlottesville violence. All right. So in 2016, the total support and net assets topped $51 million. While in October 2017, that figure had grown to $133 million, a surge that followed the Unite the Right rally and was driven in part by donations from prominent public figures, including George Clooney and almost former Apple CEO Tim Cook. Clooney said at the time that he and his wife Amal wanted to add our voice and financial assistance to the ongoing fight for equality, and there were no two sides to bigotry and hate. Cook, who also donated to the Anti-Defamation League, after the rally said that what occurred in Charlottesville had no place in our country. Hate is a cancer, and left unchecked, it destroys everything in its path and scars last generation. You can add to that groups that cause it is just as guilty. MGM Resorts also donated $1 million, according to the records uncovered by Fox News. Following the 2017 rally, National Democrats latched on to the anti-hate messaging proliferated by the SPLC and others. Many critics lambasted Trump's initial reaction. I was talking about people that went because they felt strongly about the monument to Robert E. Lee, a great general. Whether you like it or not, he was one of the greatest generals. And, Trump is right about that. He was a war hero in the Mexican-American War also. Former President Joe Biden said that 2024 DNC that he ran for president in 2020 because of what he saw in Charlottesville. was a total fabrication by the SPLC. Extremists came out of the way. Okay, I ain't going to read that one. Trump has since referred to criticism of his marks as very fine people hoax. The 11-count indictment charges the SPLC with wire fraud, bank fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, offenses that could carry significant financial penalties, restitution, forfeiture if proven in court. All right. Now, that article right there was written by David Spunt, Alexander Cook, Jake Gibson, and Alex Schimmel. 4 people wrote this article. Very, very thoroughly put together. I'm impressed. What they were saying is the SPLC raised several $100 million after the incident which they coordinated in Charlottesville in 2017. You know how Letitia James tried to sue the Trump administration out of existence? They need to do the same thing to the SPLC about what they just did, because they got people killed. They got people killed, and they got more people. You know, the SPLC, oh man. Okay, I just saw this on TV. Okay, there's a conservative group, the Family Research Council. That's what it was, right? A few years ago, this one guy tried to breach the door. He said he was going to kill as many people as possible because the SPLC labeled the Family Research Council as a hate group. And his intent was to go in there and kill as many people as possible. He was stopped and detained by a security guard at the front door. That is what the rhetoric from these hate-filled groups that are these hate-filled liberal groups are doing to our country. They're splitting us down the middle and just destroying us from within. That's all they care for. As long it's all about the Benjamins, baby. Okay, they just want their money, and they go on from there. I hope this organization dissolves. And another one besides that would be the National Action Network also. Okay? I hope they dissolve and go away. I have a feeling when Al Sharpton meets his maker, you'll never hear from that group ever again. 12:43. Wow. We're barely making it. Okay, let me get something to drink here. Okay, let me refresh here. We can do better as a society. Setting people up to do bad things and then profiting on it is wrong. Totally. All right. That's a lot of watch lists. Yes, it is. All right. Hey, we're 43 minutes into this. If you're just joining us or have been in for a little while, you haven't heard, please click the follow button for the podcast and then give me a like on the thumbs up button, please. Okay. That'd be great. All right. Virginia court declares redistricting vote was unconstitutional and a legal win for Republicans. This happened 2 days ago. Well, not this. This happened yesterday. Republicans are cheering a circuit court victory in Virginia that showed Democrats restricting redistricting efforts in Virginia are not quite over yet, despite a referendum to accept the new map drawn by Democrats getting approved by voters on Tuesday. Virginia Circuit Court Judge Jack Hurley ruled Wednesday, one day after the Democrat redistricting referendum passed, that all votes for or against the proposed redistricting amendment were unconstitutional, citing rules that imposed certain requirements that the referendum did not meet. These were a handful of cases making their way through the Virginia court system challenging the various aspects of the referendum, including the one Hurley ruled on Wednesday. The Tazewell Circuit Court just ruled the referendum unconstitutional. The judge entered that an injunction blocking the certification of the election and denied a motion to stay the pending appeal. A final order will be entered once drafted, and it will be immediately appealed. Some former Republican, former Republican Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli said on X after the Hurley ruling. Shortly after the ruling came down, Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones, which shouldn't even be elected in that state, a Democrat who beat GOP incumbent Jason Mieres in November, indicated his office will immediately file an appeal. Cuccinelli, who heads the American Principles Project Election Transparency Initiative, indicated Wednesday there are 4 constitutional challenges to the referendum making its way through the courts, 3 of which are challenges to the amendment process itself. And we ran over those yesterday. And they look like they have a good chance of overruling this referendum. Look at it like this. The Democrats spent $70 million on this yes to no question. $70 million. And then how much did it cost to actually do the election? Probably another $50 million, because it's a statewide ballot question with a yes or no question on it, right? Let's see. So we'll see what comes up. The Virginia Supreme Court is supposed to have a hearing on it on Monday morning. This coming Monday morning. That would be the 27th of April. Okay. All right. Navy Secretary John Phelan was fired yesterday. Immediately fired. Not, hey, we're moving him to a different section of the Trump administration. He was told, leave, get out of the Pentagon now. And it was probably, the rumors are he was butting heads with Pete Hegseth. He tried to go over his head, and he disagreed with the president's Golden Navy, where he wanted to build bigger and better ships at a faster pace. And he didn't agree with the president on that part, and the president fired him. All right. Next. Let's see. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 in that California's new law that requires all ICE and federal agents to wear identification badges and cannot wear a mask is unconstitutional. They cannot do that. They overruled them. An appeals court on Wednesday blocked California from requiring federal immigration agents to display identification in their NOPs, handing the Trump administration a legal victory over Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom. The 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit found California overstepped its authority by trying to regulate ICE agents, marking the latest flashpoint in a broader fight between blue states and the federal government over immigration enforcement operations. The panel of judges, comprising of 2 Trump appointees and 1 Obama appointee, found California's No Vigilantes Act violated the Constitution's Supremacy Clause, and be the 10th Amendment, all right, which says when a state and federal law are in conflict, the latter wins out. We conclude that Section 10 of the No Vigilantes Act to directly regulate the United States in performance of governmental functions. The Supremacy Clause forbids the state from enforcing such legislation. The decision came after Newsom signed into a pair of law bills last fall designed to address reports of unidentified federal agents, sometimes wearing masks and other gear, carrying out arrests and detaining illegal immigrants in California. The new No Vigilantes Act and No Secret Police Act required ICE to display identification and ban them from wearing masks, respectively. Trump ICE agents need to be reined in and held to the same standards of any other law enforcement agency, Newsom said in a statement in March. Federal accountability and clear identification should not be optional. The Trump administration sued over the two bills and sought injunctions, arguing in court papers that a state law that directly regulates the federal government operations is straightforwardly invalid, no matter the size of the burden it imposes. And then it says ICE has defended the practice of the agents concealing their activities to prevent them from being doxxed. That's why they were doing it. Let's see. And I'm looking for the part that said they're going to appeal it. California could appeal the decision. As for comment, the Newsom spokesman told Fox News Digital undercover ICE agents are terrorizing the people at the direction of Trump and his aide, Stephen Miller. Nope. It does not say anything if they're intending to appeal it. Just think about how much it costs for those two bills to go through committee, go through their legislature, all the printing of the bill, the time it took, and for the governor's signatures on it, the court costs to go through district court and then up to the appeals court. How much money did that cost the taxpayers in California to get slapped down? Really? And if they don't appeal it to the Supreme Court, that means they were just doing it for political fodder because they had no intent of pursuing this to the Supreme Court because it will probably get tossed out. Matter of fact, since it dealt with the Supremacy Clause, the Supreme Court probably wouldn't even take it. All right, we got that done. Let's see. And we'll talk about that one tomorrow. That one and this one. We're going to talk about these two. All right. So first, reconciliation may actually happen in the next couple of weeks. Throughout last night, before I woke up to get ready for the morning brief, the Senate was taking a vote-a-rama, and they were putting together a bill, a reconciliation bill, to fully fund the ICE and HSI and HSC, DHS through the remainder of the the Trump administration in January 2029. For all of them to be fully funded through the reconciliation process. They passed it. They boxed out the Democrats. They did not get a single win on any of the votes that they were taking. And they sent it to the House. Now the House wants to add more money to it to help pay for operations that's been ongoing in Iran and some other stuff. And then it's got to go back to the Senate, where it's reconciled, made sure everything through the conference, and then they vote on it, and the president signs it, and a 63-day government shutdown for the staffers at ICE will be finally over. All right? Hold on, another drink of water. What are we doing now? We're at 12:54. All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in and bearing with me. Alex Miller, she wrote this article right here. Senate GOP rams through blueprint to bankroll ICE through the end of the Trump era and Border Patrol. Senate Republicans pushed their immigration funding plan forward early Thursday, adopting a budget blueprint after an all-night vote series that set up billions for ICE and Border Patrol while sidelining Democrats. Senate Republicans adopted a budget resolution which tees up funding for ICE and Border Patrol and effectively cuts congressional Democrats out of the process entirely. The first major step in unlocking the budget reconciliation process, which Republicans are diving into once and again after Democrats refuse to fund ICE and Customs border protection without stringent reforms, despite Republicans largely being on the same page of their approach. Senator Rand Paul and Lisa Murkowski voted against the budget blueprint. Yeah, I kind of figured that one. Minority Leader Chucky Schumer panned Republicans for moving to spend billions in taxpayer dollars rather than addressing rising costs. America is crying out for relief from high costs, and you're adding $140 billion to an agency that two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country. Only Democrats don't respect them because they prevent illegal aliens from coming into our country, Mr. Minority Leader. House Majority Whip John Barrasso from Wyoming countered ICE and border agents weren't the problem. Democrats are. Democrats are always the source of the problems. Today's Democrats are a rogue radical party. Barrasso said, you deserve better than reckless Democrats hostage taking. You deserve the tools and support from Congress necessary to carry out the mission Congress has given you. Our country depends on you. And it goes on to say, Senate GOP's plan would fund both agencies for the remainder of President Trump's term. Republicans want to front load the agencies with over $70 billion out of concerns that Democrats would never agree to allocate taxpayer dollars to them again. Lawmakers dashed through amendment vote after amendment vote, with Democrats teeing up several add-ons to the budget blueprint designed to attack Republicans. Several of the Democrat amendments target affordability and economic issues in the country, and all failed upon party lines. But the night wasn't without a dash of drama. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, Republican, who has pushed to broaden the scope of the forthcoming reconciliation package, despite GOP's leadership in the White House wanting to keep it narrowly tailored to immigration enforcement, threatened to derail the process. He wanted to include a swath of amendments that ultimately wouldn't have been considered germane to the resolution and were destined to fail without support from Democrats. One of the add-ons is a version of the Save America Act. If you don't want to vote for it, don't. All I ask is you think about it, to trust the Rules Committee, to follow your heart, to take your brain with you, because the American people, both Democrat and Republican and independents, are questioning our elections. The amendment ultimately failed. Wow. So this is our chance to fully fund. And I agree with the House part, to add money to the bill to pay for the reconstitution of all the bombs and missiles we've been dropping over Iran. Like I said earlier, half our Patriot missile stockpile is depleted, and it needs to be reacquired, right? So we'll see. Now that was a budget blueprint, so it's going to go from there to the House. and then from there they're going to develop the reconciliation package, pass it, goes to the House, it passes again. They reconcile any differences, and then it goes to the president. President said he wants it on his desk by June 1st. All right, and the last thing I'm going to actually cover for the day, because it is now 1 p.m. All right, this is another reason why we need the SAVE Act. A Mexican national was convicted of illegally voting in the U.S. after false citizenship claims faces removal. A Mexican national who voted illegally in the U.S. and falsely claimed to be a citizen has been convicted and could face removal, will face removal under federal immigration laws. DHS confirmed to Fox News that Jose Cabales Armendariz, a lawful permanent resident who has held a green card since 1990. Why hasn't he already tried to become well, he's going home now. Pleaded guilty to 3 counts. That's 3. 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. Okay? Pled guilty to 3 counts of disorderly election conduct following prosecution by the Kansas Attorney General's office. Officials say Cabales Armendariz unlawfully voted multiple times and falsely claimed U.S. citizenship on voter registration forms, including a 1999 application in which he affirmed he was a citizen of the United States. That's during the Clinton administration, if you didn't know. He later applied for U.S. citizenship in February 2025, and he falsely stated on the application that he has never claimed to be a U.S. citizen. Under federal immigration law, false claims of U.S. citizenship can make a non-citizen removable. Though DHS has not detailed any potential action in the case, he's going home. Okay, guys? This alien has now been convicted of illegally voting in America's elections, voting in American elections. DHS Assistant Secretary Lauren Bias said the SAVE program is a critical tool for state and local governments to safeguard integrity of elections across the country. Records provided by DHS and reviewed by Fox News show Armendariz checked yes when asked if he was a U.S. citizen at a Kansas voter registration form and signed to affirm the information was true. The SAVE Act would prevent that from happening. Documents, on his naturalization application, however, he marked no when he asked if he ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen despite his prior voter registration. DHS said Cabales Armendariz also had a prior criminal conviction, having been guilty of battery in 1995. Clinton administration, another Democrat. Donald Trump has made election integrity a central focus of his administration, while officials pointing to enforcement actions like this case as part of a broader effort to prevent non-citizens from participating in U.S. elections. Existing federal law, 18 U.S. Code Section 611, voting by aliens under the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, prohibits non-citizens, including lawful permanent residents, from voting in elections for all federal offices. I'm telling you, this is why we need the Save America Act, to prove that you're a U.S. citizen before you can register to vote. And then you got to show ID, photo ID, when you go vote. It's a non-brainer. And to the people that are obstructing it, they need to leave office, flat out, okay? It makes no sense why someone on multiple occasions has said he was an American citizen when he was not, and he actually attempted to vote, which destroys our integrity process of our own voting system. And if he did it, how many others are there that lives in the United States are trying to do the same thing? All right. I hope that makes sense. All right. So upcoming events we have tonight. There's Pints and Politics in Gatesville, Texas, at Ranchers at 6 p.m. Make it there if you can. It's hosted by Chip Powell from Elephant and Room Strategies, and then West Side Conservative Coalition has their regular meeting on Monday at 6 p.m. in Harker Heights at Papa's Cafe in Harker Heights at 6 p.m. And then on the 2nd and the 12th of May is the Coryell County Republican Party meet and greet for runoff candidates in the Coryell County Republican elections for uh, County Commissioner 2, County Commissioner 4, and the County Judge, and any other runoff Republicans that are out there. Okay, and on the 12th of May, the event is co-sponsored by my group, the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. All right, so that is the JP8 report today. It is 107, and appreciate y'all staying in there. Catch y'all later. Got it. Good job, Richard, for tuning in today. I appreciate it. If you're when I sign off, I'm going to show you my end page, and then I'm going to go rest my voice for a minute. I'm going to go get my daughter a graduation present for getting her master's degree. I'm going to get her a new iPhone. So I got to eat lunch, then take off and go to clean. All right. So whoever's going to be out there tonight for Pints and Politics, I hope I see Richard. I hope I see you and Greg out there. I hope y'all are able to make it. But this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.